Hello. I know I haven't been on here, but life this week has been so dense and packed. But I wanted to get this on record and talk about what my experience has been ever since I left the occult. But I just got a notification. I need to take a moment. I just got a notification that Bitcoin just reached 23,000, honey. Oh, we're doing very well in the cryptocurrency realm. All right. So let me just take a moment to ground, because this week has really been testing me. This is one for the books, y'all. I mean, I feel like I've been a target. Those of you who are new, welcome. I do have new subscribers. I have not been posting on this channel, so I assume you're either from Floral Moon or you just found my video somehow, some way, and decided to subscribe. So welcome. I welcome you with open arms. I put on my little puff jacket because I get cold very easily, and I'm at home and I want it to feel comfortable. So I hope the attire suits the moment. Okay. But anyway, welcome to those of you who are new. This week has been listen, let me tell you guys, this has been one of the most challenging weeks of 2020. I can confidently say that it's been one of the most challenging weeks for me. Just feeling so frazzled. My sleeping pattern has been insane. I mean, just awake until I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning last night. And then I woke up this morning at like 6:37. I'm like, no, I was hoping that I could get more sleep. So I tried sleeping. I could not sleep. So then I just came out here and I'm like, okay, I could go downstairs and work out because my building has a gym. But instead I turned on my TV and I did a nice little workout. And I thought that would help. You know, I was just kind of opening up my hips, doing some breathing, some breath work and prayer, you know, just communing with my body and connecting with the Most High, of course, right? God. And I feel much better. I just had an interview on the main channel with Dr. Thabo, although we definitely had some technical, we were just talking, you know, we wanted to be excellent, but we had some technical difficulties because I'm up here doing it all on my own. I'm interviewing her and I'm hitting mute on the mic, and I'm like, this is a lot. This is a lot. I've taken on quite a bit, but I know God is priming me and simply refining me. And I just have to, it's kind of like he's throwing me in there. And I'm like, wait, God, hold up. I don't know what I'm doing yet. You just gonna put me out there like this? So I'm kind of going off on a tangent. And that's what I love is the fact that I can actually do that on this particular channel. But I want to take a look at your comments really quickly. Hey girl, Reese, where have you been, my love? Oh my God, we have Reese in the house. Hi, sweetheart. I miss you guys. Where are my day ones? But let's talk about what's happened ever since I left the occult. Wow. Ever since I left the occult, my life has been the most dichotomous that I've ever experienced it. On one hand, I feel like I've released so much as far as personal ensnarements, clutter, build up, you know, energetically and spiritually speaking, but also physically. I've been released into the limitless. I've been released into the truth. That's the most reviving portion of it all, is I've been released into the truth. See, the occult means hidden. Okay, so what I find is that with the occult, for sure, it's hidden knowledge, but at the same time, there are hidden snares. There are deceptive energies that infiltrate the space quite heavily when you engage the occult. Hidden. Think about what that word means. The hidden. Okay? There's a lot that you think you know when you really have no idea. How about that for hidden? Okay? There's a lot that you think you're tapping into when actually no, You're not tapping into it. You're simply making a deal in areas of your life that you shouldn't be. You're yielding over certain territory in your spiritual life that ain't doing nothing for you, and you've been bamboozled. That's what's hidden, in large part. Okay, because I know people get offended. People get really offended when I talk about the occult, as if it's, just this is my experience. The occult, has it taught me? Sure. Yeah, it has. But has it liberated me? No. Has it elevated me? No. What it did was provide me with the illusion that I was elevating myself, because I was definitely I was dabbling in this and that. Okay, I'm the type of person, when I do something, I go all in, so it wasn't just kind of tiptoeing here and there. I was all up in it. Okay. You know what? I'm actually being told to read something to you guys. So I posted on my Instagram, on my main Instagram, sort of a little blurb on my testimony. So when you get a moment, check it out. It's not on the Floral Luminescence Instagram page. It's on the Floral Moon IG page. Okay. And I'll just take a moment to read it to you aloud. Actually, I wonder if I can screen share. Let's go ahead and try that out. Hello, sweetheart. She says, good to hear from you. It's been interesting since I left the occult too. See, Reese, let's talk. Let's talk about it, sis. I would love to have you on this channel too if you want to just kiki and we have a moment, and or you could just email me. But I love talking to others about their own experience with the occult, because everyone has a very unique experience. But I find that there's still commonalities that are worth the dialogue. So let's go ahead and screen share here. So you're looking at my main IG. Let's see if this will work. Oh, this is everything right now. This is great. So yes, my darling, if you want to talk, hit me up, okay? I miss you guys so much. So this was the post, right? And this is what I said, okay? This is the photo. This photo, listen, this is when I was deep in the occult. I mean, I was really in it, okay? And this quote from Isaiah 35:4, okay, really spoke to me, where it says, say to the fearful of heart, be strong and do not fear. Here is your God. He comes with vindication, with divine recompense. He comes to save you. And in this moment, you guys, I kid you not, I was scared. I was fasting. I was preparing for a goddess retreat where we were teaching women how to activate their goddess nature and just run and just kind of embrace and run in the embodiment of that form. Run free, run wild. It was essentially, the intention was essentially activating the wild woman in you, okay? So we were just, and we were doing a photo shoot. And I remember the photographer just taking the shot, but I was literally standing there waiting. I think I was waiting for the next shot or something. And I was just looking up like, God, listen, I'm scared. So this quote, again, from Isaiah, really speaks to God's voice in that moment. But it's in hindsight. Isn't that something? We know time is an illusion, right? So it's so powerfully congruent. So I say in this piece, I remember this day clearly. I was on day 3 or 4 of an alkaline water fast and was taking photos with colleagues to promote a goddess retreat we had planned. This moment was actually captured candidly between takes as I was in active prayer. I remember fasting with the intention of preparation for the retreat, but my dominant prayer was for God to show me the way. I had no idea what that meant at the time, but it's the only thing I could think of, or the only words I could find. Do you see I'm just wanting to I'm just recalling this moment, you all. I don't have to read this, but this capture always takes me back to a call for him that echoed from the deepest pits of my spiritual journey, I vividly recall having so many unanswered questions on the inside of me. It was isolating and unsteady. Isolating and unsteady, y'all. And when I say this, listen, that those words do not do it justice. Not at all. Because it was much more than isolating and unsteady. I felt like I was floating in space, in the abyss, with nothing to grip, right? So, I practiced and taught yoga regularly, was an alkaline vegan, exercised daily, meditated regularly, practiced energy healing to balance my chakras, right? Just wore crystals to help keep me grounded or activated or protected. I practiced pranayama, honey. Oh yes, I sure did. And went to breathwork workshops frequently. Okay. Let's see. I lost my spot. I practiced pranayama and went to breathwork sessions and was seeing a counselor. At that time, I was seeing a hypnotherapist, okay? And she was also into the occult. So we kind of mixed in the hypnotherapy with like spiritual talk. And I remember her doing a hypnotherapy session on me before I decided to go to Peru. Yes, Peru. To engage a shamanic journey with a very powerful plant medicine called ayahuasca, honey. Okay, so she was definitely a part of the occult cycle. Okay, but it doesn't end there. Listen, so then I traveled regularly. I did training on shamanism to be able to enhance my gifts. Y'all, I traveled. I literally worked with a shaman. I went to Hawaii. I also went to Peru to work with shamans there. I received training where I mean, I can literally step into the spiritual realm just by closing my eyes. Like, I can do that. I thought this was the way, y'all. I thought activating these abilities is, or acquiring new abilities was the way to get closer to God. Was the way to be this healer and help people in this matrix, in this reality. I thought you want to open up and enhance yourself to all of these occult concepts and ideas and ideologies and practices in order to really be spiritually sound. So again, it continues. I had a spiritual mentor who taught me how to utilize pendulums, read auras, chakras, locate vortexes and open and close portals. I literally know how to do these things. But what? First of all, we'll go into it, but it's just, I don't need to do those things. I don't need to do those things. But there's a purpose in it all. I'm telling you, I know why God took me on this ride, because I need to know these things. We'll talk about that in a moment. Okay. So, I was learning how to locate vortexes and open and close portals. Yeah. I learned these things. I know these things. And I don't say that with like, oh, a badge of, honor. Like, I know these things as in, I shouldn't. I was Eve. And I definitely took a few bites of that apple. I didn't just take one bite of the apple. No, I took multiple bites of the apple. This is what it is. So let's keep going. I read books on quantum physics, sacred geometry, and alchemy, to say the least. And there's more, but yet and still, I felt like something was missing. Just look at this photo, y'all. I was scared. Look at my little, I didn't know. I was scared. I had all these tools, but I was still scared. A little child almost. I can see my inner child in that photograph. Anyway, so I felt like something was always missing. At this juncture, I was heavy into occult and new age. And although my intention was to help and heal people, and it was always housed with a pure heart, I always felt like I was stepping into a role that I didn't need to be in. And that's exactly what it is. I felt like I was carrying things I didn't need to carry. It was cluttered, it was draining and deceptive. God is God. Okay? God is God. Let me take a moment here. I want to come back into your face, into full view here, and talk about this. God is God. I didn't need these things, y'all. But for some reason, I thought I did. So, and my pursuit to be God was the most enlightening and debilitating and destructive journey I've ever engaged. Listen to me when I say, I've learned a lot, and all that I've learned has not even touched the majesty of the Most High. It's but a grain of sand in the greatest scheme of it all. And here I am, gaining more than I ever have without all of the clutter in the way. I am spiritually empowered in ways that I've tried to discover in the past without him. He saved me, and my testimony will speak. Vindication is here. Stay tuned. And that's how I ended it. I posted that, and that's how it concluded, y'all. It's very powerful journey. And God revealed to me who I am ministering to. And because I have a very unique niche, I had to go through those experiences, y'all. I speak to Christians. I can speak to them. It's not difficult. I have to get to those who are very, very stuck in their ways when it comes to the new age, when it comes to the occult. Those who feel like they are embodiments of God, as not as in made in the image of. No, but I'm God without God. It's silly. It's like a child screaming at its parents saying, I didn't come from you physically. I literally I'm here on my own, and you guys didn't have to do anything for me to be here. I somehow arrived. That's not a great analogy, but I'm trying to depict how silly it would look for someone to say, oh, you don't mean anything. I'm God. You're made of the same material. That's why it's said in the good book, you are made in his image. But you are not God. And the ego, see, I'm writing a book right now, and I talk about the traps and the snares of the ego, because that's what keeps people in the occult. Really, really deep in the occult, assuming the deeper and further they go, the more godly they'll become. This is the biggest deception based on my experience. Okay, so let's talk about it. Ever since I left, y'all, I have, first of all, greater clarity. I'm not feeling scatterbrained. I'm not feeling all, gosh, it's like I wake up in the morning and life is clear. I understand the world with greater receptivity. Less clutter. We talked about that. Also, stronger authentic bonds. See, when you're in the occult, not only are you gaining enlightenment from what's hidden, okay, sure, pat yourself on the back, whatever you need. It really isn't what you think it is. It's not, anyway. You know, not only are you gaining that enlightenment that you feel is somehow going to catapult you into God's sphere, you're also engaging people, places, and things that are hidden, intentions that are hidden, motives that are hidden. It's not just hidden knowledge. It's also the hidden from your own knowledge. That therein lies the snare. Not everyone understands that. They just assume, oh, I'm using my tarot cards. I got my pendulum. I got all these tools. I don't know why I'm utilizing this accent right now, but it just came. Okay, I'm utilizing all these tools. I know exactly what I need to know. No, you don't. And that's what's hidden from you. No, you don't. Those ancestor guides you've been talking to, the actual beings are hidden behind the cloak of the emanation of your ancestors. For example, don't be bamboozled. Don't be bamboozled. It literally is in the meaning, the etymology of the word, the occult. There's a lot that's hidden from you when you engage the practice, is my point. So Stronger authentic bonds, which, listen, when you start to build authentic bonds, you notice the fake ones, the ones that were not real, the ones with hidden intentions, all of that starts to come to light, and it's exposed, right? So then you have to also purge. So I've been purging people, places, and things like nobody's business. It's a narrow path, but it's real. I rather have connections that are real. I rather have a divine masculine. See, this is the thing. All the things that I manifested when I was in the occult, all of them were deceptive. All of them were deceptive. They all had something hidden. Does it not? Are you making the correlation? The divine masculines, for example, for those of you who are not familiar with that term, it's very popular in the new age, tarot community, the psychic community, where it's like your twin flame or your divine masculine, right? First of all, I for some reason I thought I had two divine masculines, because the false flame, you get the false divine masculine, or the false flame, and then you get the real, whatever, the real one appears. Stop, y'all. No. All of those manifestations, they all had hidden intentions, hidden motives. They were all deceptive. They were all Decepticons. I wanted to say Decepticons, but it did not come out. Let me try that again. They were all Decepticons, honey. So I had to read. I'm like, whoa, okay, wait. And you're just assuming, you're like, oh, okay, it's just a false twin. You're trying to convince yourself, like, no, I got it. Next time it'll be right. Get out of the occult, and then it'll be right. Because then you have clarity. You'll know what you need to know. You'll attract the real, authentic manifestations that will serve you. Get out of that frequency. It affects everything. It dirties the well. It dirties the water. It dirties the subconscious. So, stronger, authentic bonds. And again, it's narrow. I only got a couple now, but at least they're real. I had to let a lot of people go, including my hairstylist. I was like, girl, I need a new color. I need a new touch up. But we'll go into that in another video, because I don't want to go too deeply here, okay, on that particular tip. But we'll talk about that. Most important thing, though, is the stronger relationship you develop with God. That's been the gift. That's been the gift. So I want to emphasize that over everything. But the past, I want to talk about how the past has been attacking me. Y'all, the past has been coming for my ass. Okay, the past has been really upset with me because, I don't know, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like the past in all of its forms. I have people who used to watch me on YouTube when I was in the occult, and it's like, instead of just simply unsubscribing, so weird, they watch me and harass me, or will do things, and it's like, wait, what spirit is influencing you? That's not healthy. Or again, the past as in exes or friends that I manifested when I was in the occult. It's almost like they have an assignment now to attack or stalk, gang stalk. I was gang stalked, harassed last night on my live on my main channel. Again, being harassed by these creeps, these cretins. And then I was talking about my experiences in the dream space, and just a lot of energies trying to attack and harass, and what's the word? It's harassing spirits, y'all. Ever since I left the occult, my YouTube has been harassed. Videos randomly being flagged. Videos on my channel disappearing for 2 days. All my videos, all my content disappeared for 2 days. And YouTube still has no response to it. Literally, my private sessions with clients are being taken down, being removed by YouTube. One-on-one private sessions are being removed. So, stuff like that. But see, the thing is, the gift in this is when you're attacked like this, when the attacks really start to come in, as you're making the transition out of that covenant, that's a good sign for you. Because the enemy is really, really mad because they can see what's coming. They know, they can smell it, they see it, they envy it, and so on, right? So they do everything in their power to thwart it. It's pathetic, but it's their job. So when you engage these narcissists, because again, I had a vision where God showed me when I came out of this covenant and I was just taking like salt baths in deep warfare prayer. Y'all, I was giving myself deliverance, just delivering myself, doing exorcisms on literally, spirits were within me from that tarot. When you engage tarot, you are making covenants, please. And these beings latch on to you. And I was giving myself, I was in the tub. I had this beautiful setup, very simple though. I'm not going into I didn't, do the whole putting herbs in the tub with the Florida water. No, I simply just, it was very simple salt bath. Very simple. Because again, God led me and it was just, he said salt. And that was it. And he actually took me to a verse in the Bible that confirmed that for me, which was beautiful. Salt in the water and how it purifies the water. Anyway, I was in the tub and I was praying and I saw these beings coming out. Y'all, when you witness something like that, I have no words. Because I can't explain it to you because I'll just sit up here sounding loony. I'll sound kooky. So just take my word for it. It was out of this world. So definitely, ever since I left, not only harassing spirits, it's what I'm witnessing. I've never witnessed the vibrancy of the spiritual realm in the way that I have now. So much more clarity. My dreams are so much more vivid. I'm also able to read people more powerfully. Like I can look at someone and just read more than I ever have. I got rid of all of that clutter, that junk, the tarot cards, the crystals, the pen. Listen, when I threw those things, and again, let me just finish my sentences. When I threw those things away, it was about $3,000 worth of, an investment within the last year and a half. Okay. And when you pay that much for things, you assume you're going to hold on to it, but I had to let it all go. Because God wants me to start over. And he's not saying crystals in themselves are inherently bad, but it's the way in which I acquired them. I was using them as idols. Like, okay, this obsidian stone, let me pray to it, aka charge it, and sleep with it under my pillow for protection. Come on. Idolatry, that's weak. You don't need rocks to protect you. There's actually a stronger source. just tap in. So, I threw away all those crystals and the tarot card, and I felt lighter. I felt cleaner. That's the word. I felt cleaner. Tarot cards are filthy. Now that I think about them, they're filthy, y'all. Ugh. So, let me take a look at this comment. Well said. I really appreciate how you share your journey. Much love and respect for you, woman. Oh, thank you. This is why I'm always drawn to you. Bar none. True strength. Wow, thank you for that. Take care, or true care. I'm sorry. I'm not wearing my glasses, so forgive me. True care, truly perceptive awareness. Thank you, my lovely. I really, really appreciate that. It's hard sharing this journey because literally my channel that is at 20K on my main channel, right, was built on, the occult. So I knew making this transition was going to ruffle feathers. So initially it was really hard for me to come on here and talk about this, but I have to spread the awareness, which I have been doing mostly on Patreon. But I've been able to do it with people who have been feeling that nudge too, but they were so inspired by the work that I was doing, even when I was in the occult, because they could see that light in me. They could still see the authentic light that's always been there. And I've always been anointed, but I was using my gifts in the wrong way. I didn't need those disgusting tarot cards. I didn't need a pendulum. I didn't need to be working with dead beings. No. The dead know not nothing. I'm going to keep saying that. Okay? Because I just read that. So womb therapy says, what triggered the change? It was a succession. So when I was reading tarot, I always felt, how can I explain this? I always felt like out of place. And I just thought that I would get used to it. Like when you start a new job, you're kind of getting used to it. So when I first started my channel, I had my Saturn return. And my Saturn return, for those of you who are into astrology, I'm just applying this to the conversation so you have reference, right? During my Saturn return, I was losing it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who am I, identity crisis. Okay. I'm not even, at that point, not even 30, just losing it. Okay. Yeah. I was like 27, 28. I'm like losing it. So then I decided, wow, okay. I broke up with the person I thought was my twin flame, who turned out to be a very narcissistic psycho. And at that time I was practicing. I wasn't practicing tarot, but I was in the occult. Like I was doing like Santeria. I was in there. Okay. And I thought I manifested my twin flame. I just thought I thought all of this stuff. So anyway, after ending things with the person I thought was my twin flame, he basically tried to break into my home. Yes. And I had to stay with my friend because this person who I thought was my twin flame knew where I lived and would try to show up, unannounced. And he tried to break into my home. I felt like my life was in danger. So I had to stay with my friend in like a northern part of the city. And my friend was just like, no, don't go back. They're alone without me. So we went back to my place and he said to me, he was like, just come stay with me. Because this guy, he's psycho. He knows where you live. He doesn't know where I live. Come stay with me until, you make your police report. And I just want you to be safe. So we'll figure everything out. So I went to stay with my friend. And at that time I was looking at spaces to move into so that I could lose the track of, I felt like this, well, I know he was. My ex at that time was stalking me, following me, tracking me somehow, right? So guys, I know it sounds crazy, but this is what was happening. I was kind of running for my life because he tried breaking into my home at like 3:00 in the morning. And then he also had these profiles following me with the name Hitman. Okay. And he was a Mason, a Freemason. So, and I found out some things about him that he didn't want people to know. So long story short, my life was in danger. And I was staying with a friend. And I couldn't go to my studio at the time. I was renting out my studio space to different practitioners. So I made money I didn't have to show up to my office, which was nice. And I had other practitioners who rented the space for me. So I was just staying with my friend. And I remember sitting there one day and I'm like, what can I do? I don't like sitting idle. So I ordered tarot cards from Amazon because I left my other tarot cards at the studio and I didn't want to go back there because, again, the stalker was on the prowl for me. And I ordered the cards from Amazon. And I remember just kind of like thinking, let me just go on YouTube and see if I can help people with like tarot videos, because I was watching tarot videos, that's how I got entangled with the psycho, because I thought he was my twin flame, just a hot mess. So I started doing tarot. India, I'm getting there because it's a long-winded response. So I'm doing tarot. My channel grows significantly. It took me maybe 3 months to get to 7,000 subscribers. So I'm like, and the money I was making was like, huh? I was like, okay, this is, so I'm like, this is the answer. This is how I can now transfer, what I'm doing at the studio maybe, and just kind of put it online. And this is what I've always wanted to do eventually. My virtual company was called Holistic Solutions. So I noticed that the work that I was doing online with divination I felt like that was the most powerful vehicle to forward my intentions into. Long story short, a year and a half passes. I'm at 19K. I'm like, all right, yeah, this is it. But the whole time, India, I just felt disturbed. And I kept thinking that, okay, it'll pass. So then I'm like, okay, it's kind of like, it's isolating because you don't really know anyone who does tarot. So I started reaching out to other tarot readers to see if we could, don't do this, don't. But I started reaching out to other tarot readers to see if we could collaborate and work together. And I remember innocently, just very naive, I reached out to Water Baby Tarot. I reached out to Angelic Guidance 333. And then I reached out to Professional High Priestess. Y'all listen, don't do it. Don't do it. So then I noticed what was housed in the community, because it was like on the surface, you see one thing. And I'm not speaking about anyone in particular, but you can go ahead and draw your own conclusion. So on the surface, there's one thing. And then behind the scenes, there's a totally different being, the occult. Remember this, the occult. So I started noticing that. I'm like, wow, okay, let me withdraw and revoke those offers to work together, because I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved with people like that, with people who are not authentic. And again, I'm not speaking about anyone specifically. I'm just talking about the tarot community in general. I just didn't want to be involved. So I'm like, okay, here I am doing something that it doesn't feel right. It doesn't. It just didn't. And then I try to reach out to the other people to see if I can like work with other people, right? Develop a sisterhood so I could feel more comfortable with the work I'm doing. That backfired, but it didn't. It was all part of the journey, because God wanted me to see what was happening. Because I was engaging tarot as a consumer too. I was going in for readings. I was going in for advice and guidance and all of this. So the moment where I started to really withdraw from the occult in general was, it started with feeling very uncomfortable from the beginning, and that feeling never leaving. Then it started with dreams and apparitions that I would have of these beings who would show up as my guides, and they were trying to feed me things in my sleep and do things to me that it didn't seem like upright. It felt inverted. It's like, no, I just didn't feel comfortable. Again, I was doing all the right things in terms of cleansing, sage, Florida water, prayer, what I thought was prayer, okay, and so on. And these beings, again, I just never really felt that comfortable with them. So this is such a long story. So recently, it was maybe, I want to say 3 months ago, I made the decision, but I didn't know how I was going to make it practical. So I made the decision 3 months ago. Maybe it was October, September. Okay. Yeah. Maybe 4 months ago. I made the decision. I was no longer doing tarot. I was no longer going to be doing the occult work, but I didn't know how to make the transition. I didn't know where I was going to go. So I told you about the one reader that I had that exchange with, and things just really went terribly wrong. Then God took me into a dream space, and it's so beautiful because it's like God had to come down into the trenches, because I was low, y'all. When you're working with the occult and systems that are just unclean, God doesn't really reside there, but he always had his covering over me. And that's why I drew in the people that I drew in. I know that for a fact. So anyway, I had a dream, and I had a dream where God came and took me on literally like a tour, a world tour, if you will, where he showed me what was happening behind the scenes, what I was surrounded with. He showed me everything and how what was hidden. He showed me the occult. He showed me what was hidden. He showed me who this reader was, how she felt about me, what she was doing behind the scenes. He showed me what this other reader was doing and what she was doing to the people who watch her videos. He showed me what the other, I'm not going to say her name. He showed me what another reader was doing and how she was engaging and doing whatever she was doing. Anyway, he showed me how they were getting down behind the scenes is what I'm saying here. Then he showed me what was surrounding me. He showed me a demon, y'all. And the demon didn't even have, they don't look like humans. But it was watching me sleep on the ceiling. And it looked like, you know, the poop emoji? And I know this sounds whatever. I don't care. This is what it looked like. It didn't have any form. It was like the poop emoji. But it was smiling and smirking at me. It was just like glop. And you smell it. You can smell them. And I saw this being on my ceiling. I'm like, God, what are you showing me? Then he showed me a black scorpion. Dead. Telepathically, he said, this is what I just thwarted. This is what I just thwarted. You opened the door to all of this. And he said, if you were to die today, this would be your surrounding. This is what you would be surrounded by. It was hell. It was disgusting. If I would be literally insane to not respond, to not act. So I woke up from that dream and I just cried and I broke down. And this was right after the retreat too, y'all. The breaking into birthright liberty. It was right after the retreat. I asked for this though. I said, my intention is to break into birthright liberty. So he said, let me show you what you've been engaging then. Let me show you the traps and the snares. So he showed me everything that was surrounding me. And that's the night where I just sat there in my bed and I was meditating. And then my client, beautiful client, she was the Stargazer Lily tier on Patreon. She sent me an email and she said, I've been praying and I've decided to pull out from the occult and new age tarot world because God is telling me to do so. And I kid you not, before she sent that email, I was asking God, give me a sign. Like, give me a sign. What does this mean? What am I supposed to do? Like, you know, my clients are going to be really upset. My entire people are relying on me. Like, I'm good at what I do. The ego is just trying to make a case for itself, right? And then she sent that email and I was just looking at my phone like, and all I could do was break down, y'all. Because I literally asked him for a sign and a client said to me, I'm leaving the occult. I'm leaving the tarot world. God is calling me to renew my covenant with him and I can't do this anymore. So when you ask what triggered the change, it's a succession of different events and it built up to the point where there's no way I would literally be the definition of insanity. Okay? So then my grandmother passed. You guys remember that? Because a lot of people thought it was my grandmother passing. Stop. No. Again, you guys are so deceived by the occult thinking when you just have these random surface level pieces that you put together. Stop. That wasn't it. It began at the beginning. Because anyway, so then my grandmother passed. And I remember feeling her presence so powerfully. And I just knew, it's like, I just knew. I got the email from the client. My grandmother passed. I felt my grandmother's presence. And I just knew. It was like that was the nail in the coffin. I was like, okay. And then on top of that, what God revealed to me is that he had to show me those things because of who I'll be ministering to. I'm meant to minister to those who are in the occult. I have to know them. I have to understand them. I have to speak from a place of being a witness. I can't just show up and be like, oh, you're going to hell, you know, because when people who are in the New Age or the occult hear, say, a Christian speaking down to them, immediately it's like, get out of my face. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just ignorant and closed-minded. And honestly, oftentimes a lot of Christians are. So what God is doing is raising up the remnants right now who are going to have a further reach. And he had to kind of take me on that course. And I had no idea. I thought, oh, okay. It was my Saturn return, y'all. It was literally a crash course. I was an informant in essence. He informed me on so much. So I came out of my Saturn return recently, y'all. And I literally have new eyes. So when I prophesy, when I speak to people about the occult and how it's a trap and how it's fallen and how it's going to lead you down the wrong path. It just will. Those systems will lead you down the wrong path. Ask yourself, what have you manifested? If you've manifested the greatest purpose and promise this life could ever give you, then please say so in the chat or the comments. But if you've manifested narcs, if you've manifested fleeting experiences, if you've manifested wealth that just kind of runs through your fingers, slips away, if you've manifested things that are earthly but not fulfilling to the soul, okay, you can make it, because I was making money, but was I fulfilled? No. Did I have a relationship that was whole and healthy? No, I was a narc magnet. Narcs are simply demons in human form, okay, in my personal opinion. Of course, it's because you're dwelling in that's where they reside. You're playing on their property. So yeah, the only thing you're going to attract when it comes to your frequency are narcissists, and then the twin flame trap. That's how they get you, because all you're going to do is attract demonic people or people who are heavily influenced by demons, which is extremely low vibrational. So then they convince you, oh, it's your twin flame. Stay here. Stay with us. Stay in the trenches, y'all. It's your twin flame. Yes, they're abusing you. Yes, they're lying on you. Yes, they treat you like you mean nothing, like you hold no value. They toss you to the side when they're done with you. They discard you like it's nothing. Okay, but it's your twin flame. So you got to be patient. You got to hold on. You got to wait. Stop. Do you see the science? Do you see the trap? And then you listen, when I was doing twin flame readings, I would average 60,000 views on a video in like 2 days. And I thought I was doing God's work. God was showing me something though, because these numbers don't mean anything. That was false prophecy. That was false. I got clients in here that I worked with. And you know the work that I did was never encouraging codependency. When I first started out, I was. And that's where I had the most subscribers. Then I had to have a pep talk with myself. I'm like, wait, don't change your principles and your personal values here. Do not encourage people to enter and stay in relationships that are unhealthy, because that's rampant on here, where they're telling you to stay in relationships that are not healthy, not conducive, right? Or they're pretending like they're forwarding you some advice when really they're trying to make it seem like they know what they're talking about, when they don't. It's still false prophecy. It's still false. So long story short, I went through so many different cycles in one big cycle, right? And now that I'm out, y'all, I can testify in ways that I wouldn't have been able to. I can speak to the hearts who are really, really deep in the occult. I can talk to you. I can activate you. And I can speak to Christians. I can speak to people who just had their own experiences. Maybe they weren't in the occult, but they were bamboozled by the spirit of addiction, the spirit of infidelity, the spirit of greed, the spirit of codependency. Like, I have such a broad and expansive perspective now that I can work with. So I know that was a long-winded response. But when the spirit is moving, that's just what happens here. So that's what answered your, that's how I answer that for you. Okay. I'm so glad I left, y'all. I'm so glad. And again, my intuition is stronger and more informed. Yes, I know how to do those crazy things. Like my abilities that I developed in the occult. Yeah, I know what they are. It's like having street smarts. It's like I recognize it. So now that I'm out of that, right? And God is now sprinkling his anointing over that. Like, again, my abilities are unmatched. And I'm really sensitive now. I can go to the gym and look at someone and like literally hear what, I don't want to talk about it. Because I don't want to boast about it, like, and make it seem, because everyone has different abilities and God anoints us in different ways. And all I'm trying to say is that it's much more vivid, and I'm grateful. I had to follow my gut. It's more than my gut. It's like I bared witness to it. I would be insane if I were to be just to ignore that. I would certainly be kooky, loony. So it's my gut, but it's also bearing witness to the truth. I asked for it. I said, let me break into birthright liberty. That is the truth. So spiritual sobriety is a huge, huge thing that I forward to people in the occult, because you get buried under all these layers of just garbage. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but you get buried underneath these layers of all of this junk, right? Assuming that you're tapping into something. Also, I wanted to talk about my skin. My skin is clearer. It's healing. When you break covenants with certain principalities or spirits, legions, whatever, everything in your life starts to change. Everything that you manifest changes. And I noticed that my heart is more intelligent. Like I know how to love, and I know when love is there and when it's present. Like someone could just say, oh, like in the past, if I met a narc, for example, it was easier for them to trick me and fool me. Especially with the cards lying to you, saying, oh, the Lover's card and oh, Ace of Cups. Oh, see? So then it's like, you're no longer connected to your authentic, your organic impulses or that rendering. It's like you're relying upon something outside of you, which is already disengaged. And people continue to use the excuse that tarot, it helps me tap into my own stop. You don't need a tool to do that. You're externalizing. If you have anything outside of yourself that you're like using as a gauge for what it is you feel or see or experience. So again, with the tarot, it was like narc galore, because whatever guides were there to support me. No, the guides were there to keep you in bondage, period. So of course they're going to tell me the narc is for me and it's true love, because they need me to be in bondage. They need me to be stuck there because they're getting something. Nothing is for free when you make these covenants. It's a deal that you make. So now that I'm out of that, I notice my heart intelligence. I'm like, I know what it is. I don't need to guess. I don't need to pull cards. It's like, I know. And it's real. Okay, cut back, but cut off. No, so she says she cut back. Cutting back, that's the thing. It's kind of like you're still, still dirtying the water. If you watch it once, it's bondage. You could choose it. But if you take a look at people who watch tarot or people who do tarot, look at their lives, You have to look at what they're manifesting. And most of them are older and single, or single and very unhealthy and unhappy and miserable, You just have to kind of look at the fruit. Look at the fruit. Look at the background. And I told you guys that before, but it's like, what I'm trying to say is, even if you look at the comments when you engage divination videos, you'll see people are talking about, oh, I've been waiting on my twin flame for 20 years. You're not waiting on anyone. You're actually in bondage. Because you've made a covenant that you're not aware of. And that covenant, that deal, you've basically yielded your rights over to the enemy, which has probably, it's affecting your love life. So now you're not going to get that promise because you've actually sold it. You've sold it. It's not part of the deal. When you watch those tarot videos, when you go get tarot readings, you're making a covenant. Now the readers are especially making covenants. Nothing is for free. And then whatever they're leading you into will not be of God. You're following someone else's path, someone else's false God, false sense of God. Whatever it is, it's false. So to sum this up, because I've been rambling, y'all, I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna take it down and then edit it. Just my life has changed for the better ever since I left the occult. Greater clarity, purity, authenticity, truth. Okay? Trust the intelligence of your own heart. Trust the intelligence of your relationship with God. Yeah, God. See, the occult, it kind of like deludes the concept of who God is in your life. It's like, oh, God. It almost makes you feel uncomfortable to think of God. God, stop. That's the spirit that you need to most likely purge. That spirit has taken up real estate when it comes to your destiny. That's not cute. Trust me. Okay? You'll see. As I said in the post that I posted on my platforms, right? My testimony will speak. All right? And that's it for tonight. I appreciate you all for listening. I will be on Facebook shortly. So if you are in the Facebook group, I'll see you over there, okay? I love you. Bye.